You wake up every morning hoping today will be different. You scroll through social media, seeing others living their best lives while you feel stuck in the same patterns. Despite having more opportunities, technology, and resources than any generation before us, happiness feels elusive. The problem isn't your circumstances, it's your relationship with them. Ancient Stoic philosophers faced the same human struggles we do today, yet they discovered something profound. True contentment comes not from changing what happens to you, but from changing how you respond to what happens. Imagine you're a sailor caught in a storm. You have two choices. You can rage against the wind, exhaust yourself fighting the waves, and potentially sink your ship, or you can adjust your sails and navigate through the turbulence with skill and composure. Most people choose the first option in life. They fight against traffic, argue with difficult people, and resist every inconvenience as if their anger could change reality. But the wise sailor knows something crucial. You cannot control the storm, but you can always control your response to it. This is the essence of Stoicism, learning to distinguish between what you can and cannot control, then directing all your energy toward what actually lies within your power. The Stoics call this principle the dichotomy of control. Everything in existence falls into two categories: things within your control and things outside your control. Your thoughts, judgments, decisions, and actions belong to the first category. Everything else, other people's behavior, natural disasters, the past, the future, even your own body's health, belongs to the second. This isn't pessimism. It's radical clarity. When you truly internalize this distinction, you stop wasting emotional energy on things you cannot influence and redirect that power toward creating meaningful change in areas where you actually have agency. Consider your daily frustrations. You're angry because your commute took longer than expected, but traffic is outside your control. You're stressed because your boss criticized your work, but their opinion is outside your control. You're anxious about tomorrow's presentation, but the future outcome is outside your control. However, your preparation for that presentation, your response to criticism, and your attitude during traffic are entirely within your control. This shift in focus transforms everything. Instead of being a victim of circumstances, you become an active participant in your own life. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How can I respond to this in a way that aligns with my values?" This simple change in perspective doesn't eliminate challenges, but eliminates the unnecessary suffering we add to those challenges through resistance and complaint. Stoicism emerged in ancient Athens around 300 BCE, founded by Zeno of Citium after he lost his fortune in a shipwreck. Rather than wallowing in despair, Zeno saw this catastrophe as an opportunity to discover something more valuable than material wealth: wisdom. He began studying philosophy and eventually established his own school in the Stoa Poikile, a painted porch in the Athenian marketplace. The word Stoic literally comes from this location. What started as one man's response to personal disaster became one of history's most practical and enduring philosophies. The early Stoics lived through political upheaval, wars, and social chaos, much like our modern world. They weren't armchair philosophers debating abstract concepts. They were practitioners who needed philosophy to work in real life. Cleanthes worked as a night shift boxer to pay for his philosophy lessons during the day. Chrysippus wrote over 700 books while managing the practical affairs of the school. These weren't privileged elites removed from daily struggles. They were people who understood that philosophy must serve life, not the other way around. They developed Stoicism not as an academic exercise, but as a survival manual for navigating an unpredictable world with dignity, purpose, and inner peace. Stoicism rests on four cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Wisdom means seeing reality clearly, without illusion or denial. Courage involves facing difficulties with strength and doing what's right despite fear. Justice encompasses treating others fairly and contributing to the common good. Temperance is about moderation and self-control in all things. These aren't abstract ideals. They're practical guidelines for daily living. When you face any situation, ask yourself, am I responding with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance? This framework transforms every challenge into an opportunity to practice virtue and build character. These virtues interconnect in powerful ways. Wisdom without courage becomes mere intellectual exercise. You know what's right, but lack the strength to act. Courage without wisdom becomes reckless bravado. You act boldly but in the wrong direction. Justice without temperance becomes fanaticism. You fight for causes but lose balance and perspective. Temperance without justice becomes selfishness. You control yourself but ignore your responsibilities to others. True Stoic practice requires all four virtues working together. When facing a difficult conversation with a friend, wisdom helps you see the situation clearly. Courage gives you strength to speak honestly. Justice ensures you consider their well-being alongside your own, and temperance prevents you from saying too much or too little. This holistic approach to virtue creates a stable foundation for happiness that doesn't depend on external circumstances. You become someone who can handle whatever life throws at you with grace and effectiveness. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire at its peak, while facing plague, war, and political turmoil. Instead of using his power to escape problems, he used Stoicism to face them with wisdom and compassion. His personal journal, now known as Meditations, reveals a man constantly working to improve his character despite enormous pressure. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, but emerged without bitterness, having used Stoic principles to maintain his dignity and vision for justice. Modern examples include athletes like Tom Brady, who credit Stoic practices for his mental resilience, and executives like Tim Cook, who emphasizes the importance of focusing on what you can control. In everyday life, consider the single mother working 2 jobs while studying for her degree. She embodies Stoic virtue by focusing her energy on what she can influence rather than complaining about circumstances. The emergency room doctor who remains calm during a crisis, the teacher who maintains patience with difficult students, the small business owner who adapts to economic challenges without losing their integrity. These are all examples of Stoicism in action. The philosophy doesn't require dramatic circumstances. It's most powerful in ordinary moments when we choose response over reaction, virtue over convenience, and growth over comfort. Our culture teaches us to pursue happiness through external achievements, wealth, status, recognition, pleasure. But these create a happiness dependent on circumstances beyond our control. Stoicism offers a radical alternative. Find fulfillment through character development and virtue. This doesn't mean rejecting success or pleasure, but rather not making the foundation of your well-being. When your happiness comes from being a person of integrity, no external loss can truly harm you. When your self-worth is based on your character rather than your circumstances, you become unshakable. This is true freedom. The Stoics practice an exercise called a view from above, imagining yourself in the perspective of the cosmos or across vast spans of time. Your current problems, while real and worthy of attention, are temporary blips in the grand scheme of existence. This isn't meant to minimize your struggles, but to provide perspective that reduces anxiety and ego-driven reactions. Marcus Aurelius regularly reminded himself that he was just one person among billions, living for a brief moment in cosmic history. This perspective doesn't make your life meaningless. It makes it precious. When you zoom out, you realize that what matters most isn't winning every battle or avoiding every discomfort, but how you conduct yourself during your brief time here. Focus on playing your role with excellence and virtue. Before we continue, remember that Stoicism isn't just ancient philosophy. It's a proven system used by successful people throughout history. From emperors to entrepreneurs, from athletes to artists, those who achieve lasting success and inner peace understand these principles. The techniques we're sharing aren't theoretical. They've been tested for over 2,000 years. If you're finding value in this content, Subscribe to Shadows of Stoicism for more practical wisdom that actually works in modern life. Many people romanticize the past, believing that life was simpler and people were happier in earlier times. This is an illusion. Human nature hasn't changed. We've always faced anxiety, disappointment, conflict, and uncertainty. The difference is that ancient Stoics developed better tools to handle these universal challenges. They didn't have modern conveniences, but they also didn't have modern distractions that prevent us from developing inner strength. Social media, constant news cycles, and consumer culture create artificial problems that drain our mental energy. The Stoics focused on what they could control because they had to. Survival depended on it. We have the luxury of getting distracted by trivial matters, but this luxury often makes us weaker. The ancient wisdom becomes even more relevant today because we need stronger mental frameworks to navigate the complexity and overwhelm of modern life. Don't let technology and comfort make you mentally soft. Use Stoic principles to build the resilience your ancestors took for granted. Uncertainty is the only certainty in life, yet most people spend enormous energy trying to predict and control the unpredictable. This creates a constant state of anxiety and disappointment. Stoics embrace uncertainty as a fundamental aspect of existence, not a problem to be solved. When you accept that you cannot know what tomorrow will bring, you stop wasting mental energy on worry and redirect it toward preparation and adaptability. This doesn't mean being passive. It means being strategically flexible. Make plans, but hold them lightly. Set goals, but don't attach your identity to achieving them exactly as envisioned. The Stoics taught that obstacles are the path, not detours from it. Every unexpected challenge is an opportunity to practice virtue, develop skills, and build character. Instead of asking, why is this happening? Ask, how can I grow from this? Uncertainty stops being your enemy when you realize it's actually your teacher, constantly providing new opportunities to demonstrate wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Master uncertainty, and you master life. Start each morning with 5 minutes of reflection. Ask yourself, what can I control today? Write down 3 specific actions within your power. When frustration arises, pause and identify whether you're upset about something controllable or uncontrollable. If it's uncontrollable, practice acceptance and redirect your energy. If it's controllable, take immediate action. Practice negative visualization. Imagine losing something you value, then return to appreciating what you have. This builds gratitude and reduces attachment. Keep a daily journal of 3 things: what went well, what you learned, and how you practice virtue. Before sleep, review your day without judgment, noting areas for improvement. When facing decisions, ask, what would a wise, courageous, just, and temperate person do? Use the discipline of desire by wanting what happens rather than demanding that what you want happens. Transform complaints into observations, problems into opportunities, and setbacks into lessons. Practice the morning reflection of Marcus Aurelius. Remind yourself that today you'll encounter difficult people, but your job is to maintain your own character regardless of their behavior. These aren't just exercises. They're mental training that builds unshakable inner strength and sustainable happiness. Think of yourself as a blacksmith forging your own character. Every challenge is a hammer. Every difficulty is a fire, and every choice is an opportunity to shape your inner strength. You cannot control the metal you're given or the heat of the forge, but you can control how you wield the hammer. Each day, you have a chance to strike with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. The sword of your character becomes sharper with each deliberate blow. Don't wish for easier circumstances. Wish for a stronger character. The anvil of adversity is where heroes are made, not in comfort zones. You started this video still unhappy, searching for answers outside yourself. Now you understand the truth. Happiness isn't something you find. It's something you build. Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life, but it promises something better, an unshakable foundation for facing whatever life brings. As Epictetus taught us, it's not about what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. And Seneca wisely said, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Your journey toward inner peace begins now. With your next choice, your next response, your next opportunity to practice virtue. The path won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it. Stay strong, stay stoic. Remember, you are the author of your own character story. If this video helped you understand why you've been unhappy and how Stoicism can fix it, subscribe to Shadows of Stoicism and join thousands of others committed to building inner strength. Share this video with someone who needs to hear these truths. Comment below with one Stoic principle you'll start practicing today. Remember, philosophy without action is just intellectual entertainment. The Stoics were practitioners, not just thinkers. Your transformation begins with your first deliberate choice to respond rather than react. Welcome to the community of those who choose wisdom over weakness, growth over comfort, and virtue over convenience.